Hi, it's Erin and Simon with Assets and Arbitrage, and we have a great show for you today concerning some health tips that people don't consider.
Okay, first and foremost, we want to say, happy Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Hopefully, you guys all had a great 3-day weekend and celebrated and got things done. Very what do we say, constructive weekend. So hope that you all had that.
Or restful.
Restful.
We'll take restful.
Yeah. But what we want to talk about today, we always talk about Bitcoin, precious metals, building your wealth up. And that is very important for you, your family, and your generations to come. But today we want to have a different type of show that we want to say health is wealth.
Mhm.
So, your health, as whether you're young, however, whatever age you is, your health is part of your wealth portfolio. And we just want to drill down on that because like we've said before, we just see too many people come across our timeline passing away abruptly. So we just want to bring a few things to you, and then we won't keep you too long.
For the people who love to travel
Mhm.
and who are considering like, hey, I'm a digital nomad or I'm retiring and I do want to move to another country. A lot of times living in, as what I call the bush or in more rural areas is very appealing to people. The one thing that we're noticing people aren't considering is their health, right? So what's happening is they're putting themselves in situations where they're not in environments that can medically support their health. When you're traveling, if you have health issues, if you have a chronic health disorder, if you have if you've had a few medical emergencies in life, stuff like that, you really always want to consider traveling to places that have the medical facilities to support you just in case something happens. All too many times we have expats who come and something terrible happens to them. And one, they can't afford to pay out of pocket for the healthcare they need, or they're in an area which is very far away from the best or the most quality healthcare facility for their particular medical need. And it seems to be a very common occurrence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so like it's something that you need to do your due diligence on. If you decide to go abroad, move abroad, you need to know where there is the proper health care for it, like she said, any ailments or chronic illnesses that you have. So, that's very important. We talk to a lot of young people as well, so they may not have chronic illness and ailments like that, but still anything can happen, car accidents, we were in a car accident, right? And so anything can happen. You need to know where you can get the proper care and things like that when abroad.
You also really, I've seen a lot of people do it. You really don't want to travel on a shoestring budget because anything can happen. And in other countries, when you get medical care, you can't just leave, right? You can't leave until you pay the bill, until the bill is paid in full. They will have armed security stay with you until the hospital bill is paid. A lot of people in the US just assume that when they travel abroad, everything works exactly the way it does in the US, and that's not true. In the United States, you can get health care, leave the hospital, no problem, they'll bill you later. You can pay the bill, you can fight the bill. Your insurance works in the United States, where you may not have the type of insurance that does work overseas. If you are traveling on a shoestring budget, I highly suggest that you purchase some travel insurance. Like, do whatever you need to do, grind in order to generate the income you need to basically ensure that you have the travel insurance to cover you in case you do get hurt.
Mhm.
Now, a lot of travelers experience food poisoning when they travel abroad. Food poisoning can be very serious, right? Sometimes it's okay, I'm just gonna throw up or whatever until I feel better. And other times you do need to be rushed to the emergency room for emergency care, the fluids or what have you, because you can be severely dehydrated, you're in a lot of pain, et cetera, et cetera. So one other thing I would caution, and we try to tell people this all the time, is kind of dial it back with the street food when you travel to other countries. Like dial it down. I know everybody wants to have an experience, but it's not worth it by just eating any old food off of any old street cart or any old street vendor. I would typically stay towards restaurants, and even a restaurant you can get sick, but I would really kind of stick to nice restaurants and stuff, because the chances of you getting sick are a lot lower. They have a lot more regulations that they do have to kind of follow. But the street food carts, you know, they're out there, there's no sink, right? You don't see them washing their hands. Maybe they're using sanitizer, maybe they're not. You don't know how old that food is. If they're on a shoestring budget, they are gonna risk selling you older food. So when traveling, and even in the United States, you don't have to eat from everybody's food truck.
Right.
I get it, right? I know that they have to go through the Department of Health and this and that, but we've seen enough horror stories on our TikToks and our timelines to know that you want to have those experiences when you travel, but you want to be very selective of those experiences.
Yes, indeed. And I'll pivot right back to the United States, because this isn't just about traveling abroad. You know, your health is your wealth, no matter where you are. I mean, and like we said, the United States, we see far too many young people dying in the ages range of like 35, 50 something. We see a lot. We see a lot of this. And so, you know, that's part of your portfolio is your health. I mean, we're not like health gurus and stuff like that. We're not gonna tell you what to eat, what to do, but your health is paramount, right? Because if you have health issues, then what that does is it cuts into the time that you have. And remember, time is your most important commodity. So yeah, just make sure that you're healthy, just, get your checkups, at the regular times and stuff like that. Or if you are more into like, holistic things, make sure that you follow through with that. But, health is wealth, and also your paperwork. Make sure your paperwork is up in order, right? Because they will, probate court gets right in there. So make sure your paperwork is up in order. And one of the things that we talked about before, no matter what your situation is, if you got the Bitcoin, if you have the precious metals, you have some stocks and bonds and other things, you have to have it put away properly so that the next of kin can get it and it doesn't get caught up in probate court. And get it, like I said, we give the kids the keys, they got the keys and stuff, they know where everything is. So if something happens, they can get at it, they know where the silver is, they know where the silver in the depository. So you want to have that in order, because that, and everybody think we're going to live a long time, but then, anything can happen. So yeah, that was one of the things I wanted to say, is make sure the paperwork's in order so that the things can get transferred to your family, so you can have that generational wealth. A lot of people have some Bitcoin or some kind of cryptocurrency in these wallets, and if something happens to them, these wallets can't be accessed and it's lost forever. So just keep that in mind, that you want to have that person that you could pass it back down to, because it's inevitable, right? It's inevitable. It's inevitable. So you want to have somebody who can receive these assets that you spent a lifetime building up and accumulating.
Another item that I think people are missing is, when you're considering moving, whether in the United States or in another country, again, depending on whatever your chronic illness is or the chronic illnesses of the people in your household, you really do want to consider living in close proximity to like level 1 trauma centers or trauma centers, period. For those of you who are football fans, we witnessed DeMar Hamlin collapsing on the court in Cincinnati on the football field, and his heart stopped. It was because UC, which is a level 1 trauma center.
Yes, indeed.
It is the premier hospital in Cincinnati. They saved his life. Had he been in a different part of Cincinnati and had to go to a different network, I'm telling you right now, we worked in Cincinnati's healthcare, the hospital facilities wouldn't be designed to give him the life-saving things he needed in order to survive that horrible collapse. So that is a case in point And I'm gonna be honest with you, if the Bills played at if that was a game at another football arena, he might not have had such good outcome. So we really do want to, for women who are pregnant and they're having serious complications, it wouldn't hurt for you to get, even if it's like an Airbnb or something, for the duration of your pregnancy, close to wherever that critical care center is for newborns, right? Whoever has a top tier NICU center or critical care unit for babies or the neonatal unit or what have you, it wouldn't hurt you to be there during the course of your pregnancy so that they can either save your life or the baby's life, because we all know about the mortality rate of Black mothers.
Right.
I almost died twice
Mhm.
out of my 4 children. It was really my husband who probably saved my life both times, because he had to get on them about, this is what's really happening. You guys aren't paying attention. You're not listening to what we're saying. So it's important that when we're making decisions, that we are aware that we are getting older. My parents, like every typical New Yorker,
Yeah.
decided to move from New York to Florida. Good idea. They found a beautiful, active community, and it's a senior community, so you have to be 55 or older to live there. What they didn't consider when they purchased the property in their 50s was that they were going to get old one day, and somebody could be so incapacitated that they would need one of us to move in and help take care of them.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, their setup, you have to be 55 or older to live there. Now, can I stay there to take care of my family? Yes, but I can't bring my family because we have children.
Yes.
So that was something they didn't consider. And then when stuff happens, it's like, you can't get the help that you ultimately need because of the planning. It was just misplanning, it was poor planning.
Okay.
In hindsight, she's thinking now she could have picked an active community that you didn't have to be 55 or older. And that if I needed my children to move in to help me, they could with their children. And it can be it could be a multi-generational household. Unfortunately, those senior properties don't allow multi-generational households, and at that age you need that. So that's what we're talking about when we're planning, when we're putting those blueprints together that we talked to you guys about. You have to factor in your age. If you say, when I retire, I'm going to travel, then understand that when you retire, your body's not going to be as young as it is today.
Yep.
Today's the youngest you'll ever be, period. Right? So if you're saying in 15 years, when I retire, we're going to do this, your plan has to include the best healthcare facility within the area that you're going to be moving towards or moving to. Especially your cardiac illnesses, your respiratory illnesses, those critical illnesses, you absolutely have to consider these things. Even if it means you're moving from your household to another part of the city that you live in or the city you want to live in, you need to be close to a facility that can help you if you have really critical chronic disorders, or if you have a chronic disorder that you know is going to get worse over time, right? For diabetics, yeah, you're 30, your sugar can be 300 and you don't feel bad, but when you're 54 and your sugar's 300, you're gonna feel horrible. Then I had to rush you to the hospital to bring it down from 400 or whatever, because you're headed into DKA. So just understand that when we're making these plans, we have to include our mortality within those plans.
Yeah, and you know, like we say, we talk about investing. You do have to take your, like she said, your mortality into consideration, and then you also assets that you have built up. You have to have the paperwork correct so that it can go into the next generation or the next person, you know, who needs it. You know, so you know, like when people die suddenly, and then the state gets involved, and you know, then it goes to probate court and all this stuff. So you want to make sure you have your access that you have been building up for your family in order. Let everybody know where it's at, you know, depending on your situation, and you know, and that's part of your health. I mean, your health is your wealth. You know, as classically said by Nas, what do you say? Health is wealth. Look at no wealth in me. Right? So it means you're healthy, but it's inevitable. It's an inevitable thing. You could build up all the Bitcoin, all the cryptocurrency, all the precious metals you want. It is inevitable that you will move on. And so you got to have it structured so that the people can get the proceeds, the people who deserve or need the proceeds get them.
For married couples or for domestic partnerships, you typically make your significant other the beneficiary of your life insurance, et cetera, et cetera. If you have children, you also have to consider making them a backup beneficiary on those accounts and giving them written instructions on what the policies are, how much the policies are paying out, where the policy is going to be cashed out to, your banking information. You pick your most responsible child or the most responsible person in your life. Simon and I, we travel a lot together. So there is a likelihood, I hope it's not a high likelihood, but there is a likelihood that if God forbid something happened, it could happen to both of us simultaneously. With that being said, our oldest son has a write-up of all of the life insurance policies, how much silver there is, so that if somebody came in and did something, he'll know that it's missing. The accounts that we have on our iPad as far as wallets and other exchanges. And this way, outside of probate or whatever the legal system has to do, if Sean has to start moving money around, he has the ability to do it because he has the access. He has everything written down for him. Often people will pass away and nobody has access to their bank account. Right? So, we make sure that the Zelle system's set up on both accounts so that if something happens, Sean can get into our account in order to Zelle the money to his account. Should he need to do that until he's able to do whatever. And that's just in case, like we said, if our wallet is with us and he doesn't access to the cards, he does have access to the account. He can move money as he sees fit. So you do need to have that backup quarterback. It's very important. And for single moms, you really do have to get whoever your most responsible child is. Even if your most responsible child is 13 or 14, they're a lot smarter than you think. You sit down with them, you give them the information so that they have it, and you teach them how to utilize the information. That way, if and when something happens to you, they do have access to the wealth that you've left them in your demise.
Yeah, and she's right, because far too often, people weren't prepared or haven't prepared their family when something happens to you, because, as they say, you're never guaranteed tomorrow, right? We all think we're going to be here for all these years, and then something happens and then everything gets locked up, right? And they had to fight to get back with what is yours. Had it been set up the proper way, there would be no fight.
Right. So, I don't have any more points. These are just things that we've noticed that people aren't considering. We are seeing a lot of untimely deaths on our timeline. People aren't even sick, they're just passing away. But we've seen a few instances where people have passed away. They were, they had children, but they didn't have custody of the children. So the bank accounts get locked up. No one can access his bank account, and things like that. There was unfortunately a single mother who passed away, and now the neighbors got to get together to figure out how they're gonna take care of her son, but she didn't have a lot of family. There was really nowhere for him to go, and they don't want him to go to the system. So we do need to have some of these things thought through and set in place.
Yeah, that's the so that's what like we say, the stuff we talk about will kind of always come back around. We talk about the paperwork, you have your things in order. Like you say, definitely with your cryptocurrency, because you have wallets, people got cold stores and what's the other one?
The nano ledgers and stuff.
That, something happened, you can't, that's big.
Somebody needs to go secure those items, your precious metals, your jewelry.
Right.
Things like that, because people will come inside your house. We're talking family members. They will come to your house and try to call it vulture, but try to scavenge through your stuff, like scavengers, to see what they can get that benefit them. So you want to have a good inventory on what needs to be secured in case your demise.
Yeah. And yeah, that's what we say, just let whoever it is, if it's your children, if it's another family member, just keep them up on what you need. I mean, I'm sorry, what's going to happen in case of your demise, as you said, because it's inevitable. Nobody wants to talk about dying and stuff like that, but it's inevitable. You see it, we all see it on our timeline, our social media stream. So just be prepared. That's what I say, prepared. As far as that, but take care of your health is what we started with. Take care of your health best you can. We all have our vices, so you take care of your health the best you can. So you could be around, for your family and your lineage.
And on top of that, you also don't want the wealth that you've been accumulating for your family to not get to them. And that's really what's been happening lately. We have been seeing a lot less GoFundMes, so I'm proud of that.
That's nice, yeah.
But we also want to make sure paperwork's in order. It keeps down squabbling and arguing. At the time of the people's death, somebody passes away, it's already stressful. Arguing with family members and friends, stuff like that, only makes it more stressful. And it makes mourning and grieving harder. So when you have everything in place, there really is no room for argument, right? This is what it is. This is what they said to do. And this is who they said gets whatever they get. So it is important to not just verbalize what you want, but to write it down somewhere, to sit down and talk to people and say, if anything, God forbid, happens, Sean is in charge. That's it. Right? You've heard us say it 1,000 times, Sean this, Sean that, Sean the third. So no one can now come in and say, well, your mom told me that, in case of her and your father's demise, that we're supposed to be doing this. No family member could come in there and tell them that. It's like, no, my mom wouldn't have told you that. I have all of the instructions. I know where everything is and I'm good to go. I don't need anybody to come in and do anything.
Yeah, and I mean, tell me about
No, I already kind of just mentioned it keeps us wobbling down to just have everything written somewhere, verbalize it with multiple people. This is a recording. So if Sean ever needed receipts that, my mom said I was in charge, he just pull up a YouTube video. Like my mom told everybody in the Wi-Fi universe, the internet universe, that, I was in charge and I'm supposed to take charge over the assets that they left us, and I take care of my brothers. So you really absolutely, you could even do something like that, do a video on your YouTube channel, of sound mind, and just kind of like a video will.
Yeah.
This is who's in charge of this. This is who's in charge of that. Give them instructions. Obviously, if you're doing a YouTube video, you make it private and then make sure that person has access to that link. But these are some of the things people don't consider. If you don't want to write down a will or do anything like that, you can do a video, keep it on your private YouTube channel, keep it private, give the person the link who needs the instructions. That's a legal document.
Yeah, and and the thing I really want to get across, because we're talking about cryptocurrency and people keeping things in wallets and things like that. Yeah, you might have to have somebody who has the keys to your wallet, somebody, I guess, that you trust. I mean, and the most trust of, because otherwise, this will be cryptocurrency that's gone forever. So, keep that in mind. Keep that in mind.
The other thing is we're keeping stuff on our phones and our iPads, and I know that many of you have the facial recognition. And you have the fingerprint. You need to put like a number lock on there so that in case something happens to you, people can access the phone where the ledgers are, where the wallets are, where your banking information is. How many people die and nobody has access to their phone?
Right.
So it's like, I can't access anything you have because your phone's locked up, never to be unlocked again. So these are things that people aren't considering as they're trying to get more private. You're hiding this from this person, you're hiding that from that person, fake to be phone down when you're out with your spouse. We got to clean all of that up so that people can have access to the things they need to have access to in case something happens to you. And I often say, if we did stuff cleaner and more above board, you wouldn't have to have so much privacy and security and this and that and the third. It can be, my phone has a phone lock. I don't need all that other stuff. If something happens to me, this is the phone lock combination. This is the lock combination to my computer. I have a work laptop that I use in case something happens to me. They have to be able to unlock my computer in order to contact my employer and in order to get whatever paperwork going that they need to get going if something happens to me. Like, these are things people don't consider, right? You work remote for a company as a digital nomad. How do I contact your boss? How do I contact your employment to let them know that you passed away? How do I get the paperwork started for life insurance? How do I know what benefits we as a family are eligible for them? There's a lot of whys who go through that, right? I don't know what to do. You have your union companies or you have a union rep that will help you to kind of get those things going. But when you have these customer service jobs, they give you a laptop that locks immediately and this, that, and the third. You have to give people access. This is who my boss is. This is who my director is. This is who the vice president is. This is the contact in HR. These are the things that I have during open enrollment. This is the payout. This is what you're expecting. So no one can pull the wool out from under you. Especially as employees, we're paying a lot of money into benefits. So you want to make sure you get everything. There's a 401k you need to access. There's a life insurance. There's a death benefit. There's a critical payout benefit because something critical happened to you and then you passed away. You want to know all of the items that are purchased, right? If you were dismembered or something like that, accident and dismemberment insurance. How much is that payout? How do we budget it going forward since you won't be working? Do you get short-term disability? All of these things need to be verbalized and discussed so that people know what's on the table and nothing gets left on the table.
Exactly. And so that's what we just wanted to bring to you today, just some health is wealth. We want to stay healthy as we can, but we want to also, we understand that we have to give that information back to our loved ones so they know how they can move things going forward.
Absolutely. And again, it's Martin Luther King Day. We hope you guys are enjoying yourselves, you're resting, you're cooking. Something productive is getting done. Some of you are getting to your blueprints. This is the top of the year. We're working out, we're eating better, and we are putting our blueprints together in order to generate more wealth this year.
Yes, indeed.
For those of you who don't know, we just celebrated our 21st wedding anniversary.
21 summers, as they say.
21 summers is Mr. Simon.
That's what they say, 21. Been a long time.
We were excited about that, that our kids got to witness 21 years of marriage. We're also, today's Sunday, as you can see, baby got on the Bengals hat. We're going to hope that the Bengals clinch this game today against the Ravens. I'm downstairs cooking wings and macaroni and cheese. We got cookies and chips. We got some friends coming over. Our Mexican friends are coming over. They're into soccer. So this whole NAFALA thing is going to be kind of like new to them. And as they're explaining how the games and stuff go, I'm going to be learning a little bit more too. You would think 21 years of watching football, I would understand it. So the seating, and y'all didn't play enough games. So we're going to flip a coin and choose the arena. It's craziness to me. But we're hoping you're enjoying your Sunday and your Monday as much as we are. We will see you guys next week. We have a fantastic show. CEO of Miles and Franklin, Precious Metals. They are, Andy Sheckman is going to be on taking questions. We've been inviting you guys. I'm going to try to send a tweet out if you're interested in getting on the Q&A panel. You can contact us and we'll send you the link so that you can be there Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you are interested in asking Andy Sheckman questions about precious metals market, purchasing precious metals, the understanding of the best way to purchase precious metals, please contact us. My email link is in the description. Let me know, hey, I want to be on the Q&A, and we're going to send you that Zoom link to join us.
Yes, indeed.
Wednesday, January 18th at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. Central. Email us, I'll send you the link. Bye.